This is Ryan from editing. Just wanted to say that this episode contains spoilers for The Legend of Kyrol. If you have not listened to it, what are you doing? Go listen to it now. I'll put a link to it in the description. Hope you guys enjoy. Hello and welcome back to the Everything Film Podcast. I'm your host Ryan, and today I will be asking Andrew, also known as the Skywalker Academy, some questions about his fan series, The Legend of Kyrol. So, thanks so much for coming on. I know our schedules are so difficult to,
It was better than last time.
yeah.
All right. Got the notes.
So, first of all, I wanted to ask you, which
Mhm.
book is your favorite?
Um, Currently it's out of the three I'm done, the two I've released and the one that's still being released. It's The Rising Shadow. It's my favorite of the three so far, especially once I get into like the second half. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed writing all that.
it's my favorite too. Which chapter of each is your favorite?
I'm gonna do this the fun way. So for the first book, Jedi Apprentice, my favorite chapter is chapter 9, because that's like the big fight at the end. That's the first like real big lightsaber fight you have, and I just loved how I wrote that and the setting too. That's like my favorite part of that chapter. For the second book, New Horizon, it's probably the last chapter. I just really enjoyed getting everything, like all the setup from the first chapter, all pays off in the final chapter. Those are some of my favorites. And for the third book, The Rising Shadow, even though it's not released, chapter 4 is my favorite currently because it has some of my favorite stuff I had written of them all.
I can't wait to hear that one. Out
Yeah.
of my favorite book so far is three, and my favorite chapter is two.
For three?
Yeah, of even
Okay.
in all three books, my favorite chapter is two.
Okay.
I just love the way that one handles the story. And also, like, we kind of got left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That,
okay,
that, that, that gets explored soon, so don't worry about that.
okay, I can't wait for the rest. So, how many books do you think the series will have?
Um,
Or how
it
many
will
do you have?
vary because depending on what I want to keep, what I want to cut out, because the story, while I know what's going to happen, it's still evolving. I'd say a minimum of seven. Minimum of seven books.
So, you have like the story for each planned out?
Kind of. More so, I know where I like the characters, I know specifically where they're going, and the main overall plot, I know where that's going. I know how it starts, I know how it ends. It's mostly getting to there, and if there's stuff I want to take out, add, it's still all a constant process of creativity. Sometimes something new comes in my mind and I totally take out like I totally took out a whole chapter for the second book because I had something else come into my mind that worked better. So it's a constantly evolving story.
Yeah, the same thing happens to me. Like I write like movie scripts, so I know where I want the characters to end up at the end of a season, let's say. But like sometimes I may cut things. Like I more so write the characters and then write the circumstances around them.
Yeah, I sometimes do that. It really depends on like for the first book, that was all story first, character second. The opposite was for the second book. It was all character and story second, which you can actually kind of see when you listen to it.
Yeah, like I re-listened to it all in preparation for this and I can see like the different writing styles for across the three different books. Now, who's your favorite character and who's your favorite character to write?
Oh, that's tough. I'm going to take out the main character because that's personal bias.
Yeah, my favorite is also Kyril.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite, not counting the main character, Kyrol, is Daisha Kuvi, who, just to give a brief introduction to her, she's an Arcanian half-breed, Arcanian mother, human father. She had something happen to her. I'm not going to say what. She had something happen to her in her past that made her to this person that you meet when you first see her, and just how she evolves from that first initial meeting to where she currently is, and her friendship with Kyrol and Kyrol's best friend, how that evolved into they become a family of sorts, like a kind of like Harry Potter, like the trio become a family.
Yeah.
And my favorite to write, that might have to be Kyrol's own master, Sharakzina, because while you know stuff about her, she still has a lot of mystery, which gets explored later on, and I can't wait for some of that to be revealed. And you learn a little bit about her master, what he was like, how his teachings kind of passed on to her, and how that's kind of affected how she teaches her student.
Yeah. I I think my favorite would, besides Kyrol, would also be Master Kazina. Like I think she's a really interesting character. I'm also like terrified for Liam. I feel like he's
Hmm.
going down a dark path. I know
Hmm.
you don't want to spoil it, but I'm so scared.
Yeah.
Also, I'm scared for Kyrol because I was listening to it. I'm like, okay, he likes Daisha. That's cool. And then I realized Jedi aren't supposed to like have feelings for people. So I was so scared. I'm scared that the wrong person's gonna find out.
I'm gonna say there's a difference between love as a whole and having attachment. That's something that I address later on. I will say that.
Okay.
Won't tell you when, but it's something that gets addressed.
If you could change one thing about the series, what would it be?
Oof. I think for me, it would have to be giving the character Master Jot more screen time, specifically in the second book, and a little bit more in the first book, because, okay, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. So you've been warned. Master Jot was made the red herring for the first book because it was a mystery on who the culprit was. And I wish I had had more opportunities to see more of him and how he interacts with Daisha too, because they know each other, and why she's so headstrong about he's not the bad guy. Like, I wish I added more just about him.
That would be interesting if like I don't know if you've seen Invincible, but like the specials that they do, that would be interesting if you did like a special
Oh, like
developing.
like for certain characters, like little side stories.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
seen
know.
Invincible. I know what you're talking about, the Adam Eve special.
Yeah. So I think that would be really interesting. So, were there any alternate endings or plot lines that you removed from like that you removed from any of the books, like a major plot line that you had to cut out because it wasn't flowing well?
Oh, but there's the one, like, again, like I said, Master Jot was the red herring, but I wrote, when I was initially writing it, I wrote it to where either Master Jot or another character, I'm not saying it just so people don't entirely know who it is, and another character are it could have been either of them. And I literally wrote a whole version where it was Master Jot who was the traitor the whole time, and that would end up changing Dacia's story altogether, and how she goes down a darker path instead, and how that affects her, how she questions being a Jedi afterwards. But I liked a little bit more. Well, I just said it, dang it. Oh, there we go.
Cut it
Was
out
the
if you want.
It's up to you. Um, the other person was the traitor the whole time, and that affects another character. Well, actually, it affects two characters. One that's obvious, and another one that gets addressed later. That was like the big plot line I cut. But I also cut like some smaller stuff. Like, I initially wrote Liam was already a Jedi Knight. He was actually like 2, 3 years older than Kyrol versus a year older. So
That would
that
be
would have
interesting.
changed things diff. drastically. And another one that I had, the trio, Kyrol, Liam, and Daisha, were initially going to take the rank of Jedi Knight at the end when they were offered. And that would have changed things too because they have more freedom. That would have totally changed how the second story goes because they're on their own now versus they still have their teachers.
I think it would be interesting to see that. I'm not sure if I'm afraid that they're gonna leave the academy before they can become Jedi Knights. So I'm wondering,
Well, Liam becomes a Jedi Knight in the second book.
yeah, but
So,
like Cairo and Daisha, due to like their situation.
yeah.
So how do you handle writer's block? Or do you ever get it during
Oh,
writing
I
the
do.
series?
I've been at this one writer's block for months for the fourth book.
Wait,
I
so
can't get
you have all of three written?
Yeah, all three has been fully written. I've written out the script and now we're at the process of
Boarding.
getting it all together.
Uh,
Because that's how I do it. I need to write the full thing before I send it out. And but yeah, I'm still currently on writer's block for the fourth book, so that's fun. But how I usually deal with writer's block is I'll put whatever I'm doing down for a few days, maybe watch something, something will spark in my head. Like I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean, I think it was Dead Man's Chest, and the bit where Elizabeth and like the other two pirates are constantly throwing swords, that kind of happens in the second book where Kyril and Liam don't have their weapons. Daisha has hers, so she's tossing one of them to Kyril, then tosses it to Liam, then vice versa. That's kind of where I got that idea, and that's generally how I deal with writer's block. Just do something else, and sometimes something clicks. Otherwise, I may just scrap it and start over.
I'm gonna need to try that. I've been on a 3 month writer's block, and then I switched to writing something else, and I have writer's block for that. I just keep switching, and eternal writer's block.
I'm gonna say that's kind of why I also, if anyone's seen like the post I made, I have a new character called Kaya Tillian. That's kind of another reason why I created her, in addition to the obvious reason that I explained in there. It gives me something else to focus on. So maybe while I'm working on that, something comes to my mind for the Kyrol series.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try that next time I or soon, because like my writer's block is just it's horrible.
It's the
I can
worst.
I can never get anything done.
Yeah, I know the feeling. You literally just sit there and you're like, okay, and you're basically and then there's the buffering sign above your head.
Yeah, and like I can't I literally haven't finished anything in like a while, in a few months. Like I made a post about it. I don't know if you remember, but that was the last script I finished writing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's just like it's just annoying. So now I know you have a composer for the series,
Yep.
SD Sheridan, I think.
I think that's how you say his name. Correct. He can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know.
So how did you like stumble across him, and when did you know that
Um,
that's
he
who
actually
you
showed
wanted?
up in our Discord server, which
Uh,
he showed up in that, and the guy I'm partnering with who has his own story, which is he's still working on. Then he has a composer for that, at least as far as I'm aware. I found one of SD's videos. I really liked it, and then we just got to talking, and he sent me a sample of after I sent him a brief recording of like chapter one. I was like, you know what? I'll have you be the composer, and it's worked out ever since. He's made some fantastic music, music I couldn't even think about making.
Yeah, like the music is amazing. Like the full OST that he released like 3 weeks ago
Yep.
was really good. Do you have a favorite piece of music that he's done for the show?
Ooh, that's tough because he has a lot. I think it's the one I titled. Let me go to it. Come on, where is it? All right, there we are. Yeah, for me, it's the one titled A Guilty Heart. I really liked that one. That one was like probably my favorite. And Remembrance was another good one because I think that's the one that has the flute in it, and I
Yeah,
really
that
like that
that one
flute
is really
part.
good.
Yeah.
Also, like for the voice actors, what was what was the process in finding the right people for the right voice?
So for that, I like did like if anyone's seen the voice actor reveal thing, those lines that
Yeah.
they those lines that they say were lines that I had written like as something they can go off of, along with the general character description of the voice, what it should sound like if there's a reference that I'm hearing in my head that they can use off of. And I give them like a image of the character so they can know what the character looks like, because sometimes some people need to see the character to feel the character. And basically from then on, I sent it out. I used Discord was the place where they could send it, and I when my friend told me about the Casting Call Club, which is like a site where you can get like voice actors and stuff. So I tried that. I think some people came through there, so that helped as well to get some of the characters. And then it was just a matter of figuring out which voice sounded good. Sometimes I'd get it, someone get it, and it'd come first try. Other times it'd take quite a few.
Did you ever like audition someone for Kyrol? Because I know you voice him, but was that the
Um,
first option?
I initially thought about it, but then like I asked like people on I made a post like with all the announcements, like, do you want me to voice Kyrol in addition to reading the story myself? And they were like, yeah, it's your character, you voice him. I was like, okay. And in addition to Kyrol, I voiced Shara Kazina through an AI voice that I created. So while the voice itself is AI, it's still me speaking.
Oh, I
That's
thought
not a
you
voice
just
actor.
I thought you just read line or wrote lines for the AI to
No,
say.
I'm literally speaking the
That's
lines
so cool.
so I can get the inflections.
Because I was hearing it, I'm like, this sounds very lifelike. And I'm like, that's weird that AI is able to do that.
Yeah, it actually is scary, but no, it's just the voice itself I created, and I'm speaking every word. Like even with the lessons with Master Kazina, that's me speaking them.
The lessons of Master Kazina are like
I need to get
30%,
back to those.
30% of all the Star Wars lore I know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find stuff, and that's the part that's most troubling. I have a script for one thing that I think I started recording and then just stopped because I was focusing on some other stuff. Mind if I talk about some of the characters for a brief moment?
That's fine. You can.
Okay, so the main character, Kyrol Novak, he's a Jedi Padawan, and the story is set during the transition period from the Old Republic to the High Republic, because there's 500 about 500 years of nothing. So it gave me creative freedom to tell whatever story I wanted without much in the way of contradicting things. And plus, it's a fan story. But Kyrol is the main character. He's a Jedi Padawan who has a blue crossguard lightsaber like Kylo Ren's. Um, he has a hidden ability of his own that I'm not going to say. Um, and he's just generally a good-hearted person who struggles a lot, must overcome challenges. His best friend, Liam Ryland, is a year older than him. He's a true prodigy. Like, he's a great duelist, great at using the Force, great pilot, has a purple lightsaber, which anyone who knows anything about Mace Windu knows why he has a purple lightsaber.
Yeah.
And basically, he struggles a lot with guilt. That's something that he struggles with a lot. And the third to round out the trio is Daisha Kuvi, like I said, is an Arcanian half-breed, Arcanian mother, human father. She grew up in she grew up in the worst condition compared to the other two. That's all I'm going to say regarding that. And she has her own struggles she must face, and she has a double-bladed lightsaber that can split apart in two, which there's actually a reason why I did that. And if you complete the first book and then go into the second one, you actually see why she made that switch because it's something that happens in the first book, if anyone catches that detail.
I think I know why. I'm not sure. It
You know
was
what? I'm gonna say it. I won't say it entirely, but someone she's fighting cuts her lightsaber in half, and then she must use both blades separately, and that's where it started from.
oh, okay, I remember now.
Yeah. And the next person is Shara Kazina, who, like I said, is Kyrol's master. She trains him. She's basically a mother figure to Kyrol. She sees him as a son, although she has her own secrets that she's keeping hidden. And the last to round out the five main characters is Donwyn Zunmink, who is Liam's master and is the Jedi Battle Master. Basically, he's like the most combat Jedi of them all. He knows all the lightsaber forms. He's in charge of the Temple Guard, everything. And his past and why he does the things that he does affects him and affects the others around him. That's probably the best I could say without fully spoiling everything.
So, like, I know there's a lore reason for them having, for Kyril having the crossguard lightsaber, but
hmm
did you just decide, when did you decide? And did you decide the lore reason after?
I knew basically right in, like, I wanted to give Kyrol a crossguard lightsaber, and then I remembered the lore reason why, like, where the Jedi would have had the lightsaber at the time. And so that's where the lore came in. And then I took a little bit of Jedi Survivor's lore with how the crossguard is presented there as a broadsword.
Oh, I
Because if you
still
listen to
need to
how,
play that.
because if you listen to how Kyrol fights, it's very heavy, very aggressive, very wide, powerful strikes.
Yeah, like Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
That's why I'm afraid for him that he's gonna like go to the dark side. Especially his name. It sounds like similar.
Hmm.
So I'm just like constantly scared that like the wrong person's gonna find out.
I don't know. It could be a red herring the whole time, and it's someone else who falls, someone you don't expect.
Like I feel like I know you know probably the answer to this, but I feel like it's not, if it's what has to be one of the three, it's gonna be Daisha. You don't have
Just
to
out of
answer
curiosity, what makes you say that?
because I feel like the other two are I feel like you wouldn't do Kyrol because of Anakin, and you wouldn't do Liam because I feel like we're already. I feel like you would go an unexpected route. I may be wrong, but I feel like it could be Daisha, and she has like the worst backstory. So I feel like if the wrong things happen, like maybe because she said, I feel like she did say once that the Jedi Order was all that she had. So maybe if she gets kicked out of the Jedi Order, something bad will happen.
Interesting theory. I wonder if that will come true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really I was thinking about it like last night and I was like, if one of them was to turn evil, who would it be? And I was like, yeah, it's It's probably not gonna be Daisha, but it's just my theory.
It's just a theory, a film theory.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Matt, you don't have to answer this. I'm just giving theories of mine.
Mhm.
Master Casino might die, and Kyrol will lose control.
Like lose control of his anger.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen.
Let's see. I had a bunch of theories last night.
Hey, spout him off. I love interacting with people about the story. It's one of my favorite parts.
Also, that I feel like the new character, I think Chip, is going
Chip?
down. Is it Chip?
Yeah, it's Chip.
Yeah, I feel like they're going down a dark path. I feel like I just think I'm paranoid, but like I
It's the
feel like
title, isn't it?
yeah, the rising shadow. I'm just thinking who is it? Who is it?
Yeah, I know who it is, but I'm not saying. And it's not someone people expect.
So, do you have a time frame that we can get the next chapter? You don't have to give an
Um,
exact date, but like
well, firstly, I don't even have an exact date. I'm really not one of those people to like demand and rush this kind of process, especially like let's say some of my voice actors have other things that they work on or and they have lives and everything. I don't want to constantly be overly demanding while other stuff's going on. So I basically released the script to them and it's like just get this to me as soon as you can and sometimes I'll just do check-ins just to see it's like, hey, this coming along. And that's pretty much it. I just do check-ins just to see if everything's going smoothly. I take the audio that I have. If I need to clean any of it up, I can do that. And then I just slowly build it together from there. And then afterwards, I send the full audio without the music to my composer, and then he goes from there to do the composition.
uh, so it's still pretty far along.
Yeah, it's still pretty
I'm
far
like
along.
dying to know who the rising shadow is.
Okay, yeah, I'm want to make sure I'm right. I have like 15 or 16 chapters. It's like this is my longest book that I've made so far. And we're not
Wait,
even halfway through it.
15?
15 or 16 if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it's 15.
Uh, that must be like hard to write all of it.
It is, especially at certain points in the second half, especially there were parts where I'm like, I don't want to write this, but I know I need to.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. Like I'm writing a time travel story, and
Oh,
it
mention
took
time.
like weeks to figure out because the way the time travel works is like it's more of a linear structure. So anything that you changed in the past has already been changed, if that makes sense. So like let's
Oh,
say
so it's
you
like how Hulk explained it in like what was it, Endgame?
no, not really. But like
Oh, okay.
it's not like changing something branches off. It's more of like if you steal a mug from someone, if the mug has always been stolen. So like the changes that you make to the futures have already been implemented. It's so
So it's a
hard to
closed loop.
yeah, it's a closed loop.
Okay. All right. Makes more sense now. This is why I can't do time travel.
There's like so many different types and I had to decide on the right one for the story.
Yeah.
And like I'm one page into the script and I just hit writer's block.
But yeah, like sometimes just putting it down, trying something totally different, or just ignoring it for a while and putting on something else helps. At least me. Because that's actually how, through that, that's how I got Daisha's last name.
Uh,
Dacia
Also,
was like the first thing I had, and then Kuvi came from Kuvira from Avatar: The Legend of Korra.
uh, oh yeah. So, last question. How did you
Mhm.
come up with the name Kyrol?
Uh, hmm, that's an interesting story. So I had like a bunch of names I had over the years. Like Jason Zazik was like a common one. Zane Kuzan was another one I had in my mind for years. Those either of those would have been names I would have chosen, but I also had Kai on the brain, and Kai Novak had a nice ring to it. But the more I played around with it, I just landed on Kai Rawl. And while it said like K and it said like Kryall, but it's spelled Kryol. So it's one of those funny things like it's said one way, but it's spelled a different way.
Uh,
But yeah, that's
so
kind of how I just came through with the name. It's just a process of figuring out what works for the character. Like I'll design the character and then come up with the name.
yeah, like I have a machine that I'm like writing, or there's a machine in the time travel story, and like I need to find a name for it, and I'm just trying mixing other names to try to find something like unique.
Sometimes I'll just like I think for Jot, I literally looked up like different names for his species and then picked something off of that, like for his last name. And then I came up with the first name myself. And I'm like, okay, that works. Sometimes it just depends on the character.
Yeah, like some names are easier to find.
Yeah, like Sharkazina, that was like one of the first ones I had in mind.
I don't know how you come up with the Star Wars like lore names though.
Probably just from years of watching Star Wars, just knowing what kind of names just flow, work together.
Yeah, because like Star Wars has a unique like name set of names.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for coming and doing this interview. It was great to talk to you about how you came about the show or the book.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it. I always love talking about this series.
Do you also, last question, do you ever
Yeah.
get actually, how do I phrase this?
You can just say it. It probably won't sound horrible.
Do you ever get like not like in the Discord, or let's say you're in another, because I'm assuming you're in more than one Discord. Do
Yeah,
you
I'm in a
ever get
few.
people seeing you and say, "Oh, that's the guy who wrote the Chiral series"?
Um, Not really because most of the Discords I'm on don't have that, and the only other one I'm on that has like anything relating to story stuff is another YouTubers altogether. So, and a lot of people post stuff on there, so I'm like just one person. Most of the time, it's just me.
Uh,
It's not something I overly advertise because while I enjoy the series, I love it. There are other stuff that I do that I think are just as good, if not better, than some of the Chiral stuff.
the Chiral stuff is really good. Uh,
Yeah.
it was a pleasure speaking to you. Hopefully, we can. I'm glad our schedules weren't like so
Yeah,
hard to
like last
align.
time where it was like 3 weeks of planning and nothing works.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
All
Okay,
right.
try to do the outro.
All right.
This was the Everything Film Podcast. I'm Ryan, and this was Andrew. Be sure to subscribe to his channel and join his Discord, which I'll link in the description. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This was the Everything Film Podcast. Thanks for listening. I think I do it better when Nathan's not
You got someone else on your shoulder.
here. Yeah. I remember this one time I was watching Clone Wars. I forgot which episode it was. And then it was the episode with Ahsoka and the sisters.
Hmm.
But like for years or maybe for months I was wondering where did you get your name from? And when she like name dropped it, I like got up and just started cheering.
Actually, that's not true. I got the name was super random. Came up with it on the spot, and it just happened to be that same thing that Ahsoka said.
Oh, uh,
I
well,
literally just
still,
like, what's a name that sounds good? And I was like, the Skywalker Academy. Okay, and then like 2 days later, I remembered. Oh yeah, Ahsoka said that in the Clone Wars.
uh, well, I still like cheered. My brother was like, what happened?"
Like, is this like important detail or something?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't watching it with me, but he just heard me get up from my seat and just start clapping.
Hmm, that's funny.
Yeah.
That was basically me when I watched the final episode of Ahsoka, and you see the statues of the father, the son, and the daughter, and the destroyed one of the daughter. I'm over here like going, wait,
Uh,
wait, 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 and my parents are like, "You okay?"
that
Like,
happened to me.
this
Like
is important.
after I finished Clone Wars, I was rewatching Revenge of the Sith with my mom. This was her first time seeing the movies, and I noticed a
Hmm.
detail that was repeated. I forgot what it was, but like I just started cheering, and like everyone looked around me like, "What happened?" And I couldn't explain it to them because I'm the only one who's seen it. But like,
Yes,
yeah,
my parents like they really only watched the movies and The Mandalorian. That was about it.
yeah, my mom's like, I started Andor with her, with my parents, and
Yeah, that's a tough one to get through.
it is. And I'm like, guys, please just get to season two. It's so good. Because, like, I guess they prefer things more like season two, where it's kind of
Yeah,
like,
that was actually me. I wasn't a fan of the uber slow pace. I knew what they were going for, but I wasn't a fan of the uber slow pace. It's just not my kind of flow.
yeah, me too. And I was like, guys, they still haven't finished it. They have like four episodes left into season one.
Hmm.
But, like, all they watch is Mandalorian and Boba Fett and, like, the movies.
Yeah.